Welcome to another Pinche podcast.
What up? You're here with another Pinche podcast, and I got Mark from Impalas Magazine today. We're going to talk about his 2025 tour. What's up, Mark? How you doing?
Good morning, Rick. How you doing, brother?
So far, so good. Already went to the gym and everything, and just another day.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about our 2025 tour, Impala's tour that we got coming, kicking off March 8th
Yeah.
in Arizona. You
Mhm.
know, so we're ready, man. We're excited. We're got all the shows already lined up.
Yeah.
We put the dates out early. That way, people can work around their work schedule and plan their vacations and take the time off that they need to take off to come out and support us, man.
Definitely. And so we're not just talking about one show. We're going to bring up, your tour. What shows do you have lined up for this year?
Well, Rick, we got total of five. We got a total of five shows this year, and we collaborated with some great promoters. Of course, Arizona March 8th. At the stadium, at the Arizona Cardinal Stadium. It's been a very successful show, going on 11 years already. Ever since they started. So we kick. This year we're kicking the tour off with Arizona, and then we're going to SoCal,
Mm,
and we're working out there with Gangsters Trunks from Majestics. Again,
nice.
we're collaborating with him, doing the show at the OC Fairgrounds. Second year, it's the second year that we go there.
Mm,
We're trying to collaborate. Brought two shows, brought the Long Beach show together with the OC show, and just trying to put one great show together for
nice.
SoCal. And then, of course, we come back up to Stockton, California, and we do our show up here in Northern Cali, which has been one of the most successful shows for our area, for a
Yeah.
while already.
The SoCal show, what day was that again?
The,
That's
the SoCal is March 29th,
March.
Saturday, March 29th. And just like Arizona, March 8th, we're going to have move-in on Thursday and Friday.
Mhm.
It takes us about 2 days to bring in the cars and set everybody up and set the vendors up and just, everything that comes along with, putting the show together.
Nice.
And
And
then
then,
we come up here to Stockton, April 27th, to the San Joaquin Fairgrounds. That's a Sunday show.
mm,
We do that show on Sunday, and again, we start bringing cars in on Friday and Saturday,
mhm.
and then we go up to Washington to the Tacoma Dome to June 22nd,
Yeah.
which last year was our first year up in the Pacific Northwest, and man, those everyone treated us, showed us major love. All
Oh,
the car clubs, solo riders that came out and supported us. That's an all indoor show, and you were out there, Rick. I mean,
yep.
well, we had the line at 10 o'clock in the morning all the way around the block already.
Yeah. I remember I walked out there. I'm like, oh, you got a line all the way through the parking lot. Buddy." So,
Yeah,
and that was, at the opening, of the show. And it was a good crowd came in, and it was pretty cool being there all indoors.
just going that far up, to Seattle, and seeing the lowrider movement up there, it was really, it was nice. I mean, further that we had gone, previous years were, Portland. We went to the Portland a couple years, before we did our show, and we went to look at the movement up there, and I really didn't know that the lowrider movement was that strong, past Seattle, and it everyone came out, man. Everybody came out, showed off, and we put a car hop together last year at the last minute.
Mm,
We didn't. Sometimes when you go to new facilities, Rick,
yeah.
sometimes you don't want to throw everything. You don't want to try to do everything the first year, because sometimes these facilities, they don't really have an idea of what we're trying to do until we actually do it. And then once it's done, then what we try to do every year is we try to bring something new, to the show every year. Like this year, for the Washington show, we're going to do a tattoo expo. the whole left side of the Tacoma Dome, which we didn't use last year. We're going to go ahead and just put in tattoo vendors in there and art exhibit. We're going to probably put some, even if we're going to have a few cars in that building, just to, that have something to do with the tattoo lifestyle,
And
and
that's going to be the whole weekend, I believe, right?
it's going to be the whole weekend. We're going to bring in the tattoo artists on Friday. We're going to move them in on Friday, set them up Friday, and then we're going to open the doors to the public for the tattoo show. We're going to open it up Saturday. We're still moving in cars on Saturday for the Lowrider show. We're going to still, we're going to still be able to allow the public to come Saturday and enjoy the tattoo expo along with, they're going to have their own music. They're going to have their own vendors, either clothing vendors or tattoo vendors, anything that has to do with the lifestyle. It can be from, lifestyle clothing to tattoo manufacturers to, ink manufacturers. So we're going to have those, we're going to have, that going on Saturday. And then of course, Sunday, Sunday is going to be both. So, I mean, if you, we're telling people if you go Saturday and you get a tattoo started on Saturday, well, most of the time you have to come back the next day to finish your tattoo.
Yeah.
Or if you don't get a chance to come Saturday, and you have to work Saturday and you come on Sunday, you're gonna actually get your money's worth on Sunday. You're gonna get the whole package deal. Car show, concert, tattoo expo. All under one roof, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and we're gonna definitely try to make, we're gonna keep it affordable, Rick. We're gonna keep it affordable, especially with everything that's happening right now. With everything's so high and everybody just stressed out about this whole economy, the way things are looking already in the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
we're definitely trying to keep we definitely want to try to keep our shows affordable. Rick, it's a business. I tell people, we run this like a business. We want to make money too, and sometimes we don't try to make it off the cars or the vendors. The cars and vendors, I've always said, without the vendors and without the car guys or the car clubs, there is no show. And but we still have to charge something. We still have to pay for the facility. Win or lose or win, if it's a great turnout for the people that walk, if the spectators are there and they walk in, and it's a good day for us. But that's a gamble that we take every time we do a show, Rick. We just don't know how the attendance is going to be. We want it to be great, but sometimes you just don't know. It's the roll of the dice. Sometimes like I tell people, sometimes we go back to the same cities that we've been at. And because we are there year after year, we're consistent, and that helps a lot too. That does help us,
Just to let anybody know, for the ticket information for any of these shows, you go to his website, www.impalasmagazine.com. In the YouTube video and the information on this podcast, I'll have the link for that website so you can check out his events and see about the tickets and so on.
Rick, we got all the information already, like you said, on the website, Impalas Magazine. We strive for people to buy their tickets on Eventbrite. For years we didn't use Eventbrite. We used to just wait till the day of the show, and then we would have this huge, humongous line for people to buy tickets, and I always felt like, man, I felt bad for the people that sometimes have to wait hours to buy a ticket, and then they have to get in another line to go through security, and we try to sometimes open up as many doors as we can so that we can get people in pretty quick to enjoy the show. But we tell people, buy your tickets early, go to our website, go to Eventbrite, buy the tickets for $30. We try to keep the tickets at $30. Kids 12 and under are free, always with a parent or a guardian, whoever they come with. As long as they're coming with an adult, and just bring the whole family and enjoy the day. For Stockton this year, we're actually for the whole tour, we're actually working with Tierra Legacy. Tierra has actually been a group that we're trying to work with and bring to a few shows. Mac 10 is
Mhm.
another artist that we're working with, trying to bring him to a few shows. Of course, Baby Bash. We're working with Baby Bash, trying to get him lined up for a couple of our shows. And sometimes it's hard because a lot of these artists is, Rick, you go to all the shows. A lot of these artists is already at other shows,
Def
so it's been a challenge, challenging trying to figure out which music artists is to bring that are not already going to be here 2 weeks or a month before our show, and we're working with some great artists, some great groups this year, and San Jose,
Mm.
August 24th is at the San Jose Convention Center is our grand finale.
Yeah.
That's going to be
All
our
indoor show.
all indoors. Rick, you were there last year. It was all indoors, and they brought the return of the King of the Streets the next day.
Mm.
This year, because we have to stick with the same date that we started with, we have to do the show on Sunday. So King of the Streets is going to be 2 weeks. I think August the 10th is going to be 2 weeks before our show, but we can't do a car hop because we just don't have the area to do the car hop since it's all indoors. But what we are going to push for this year is we're going to try to have as many motorcycles, lowrider bikes on the carpet, which is the main entrance. When you walk into the three buildings that we rent,
Yeah.
uh, and we're going to try to go for 500 500 entries. We're going to try to put 500 entries in there. Last year we had a little bit over 350 entries,
Damn.
because I didn't know that we were, we had access to the whole, balcony. I didn't know that until the week of the show, which, the problem with the balcony is that it's all carpet.
Yeah.
So, we have to bring in the motorcycles. We have to try to bring in the motorcycles, push them in, and put stuff underneath the bikes so that in case anything leaks, it doesn't leak on the carpet. Which, like I said, San Jose is going to be our grand finale. We're really pushing for that show to be, you know, one of the biggest shows, that we have in
Yeah.
Northern Cali, you know.
And then with the San Jose show and just like anything else, the eventually, you're gonna put out the artists and stuff. Like I know a lot of people will be like, well, like they always have Baby Bash or something like, but you gotta a lot of people don't understand like some of the entertainment is also catered for what the women want to see and hear. It's not just about, everybody and couples and people that want to hear, different music. It's not so much as, it's just the same artist and they do a lot of car shows. It's also like people do actually want to see these artists, and it's always hard to pick and choose. But with Tierra, that's gonna be a really good band to have out there.
Too, Rick, like you said, a lot of the artists that are already performing
Mm,
on other shows or they're doing car club events. And so, we do get a lot of messages in our inboxes, like, who sometimes people want to see. We
mm,
try to work with the local artists too. I try to work with local artists when we go out to certain cities. We always try to have one or two local artists that reach out to us, first. It's not like we favor anybody. It's like, when you see the flyer go out, especially like, man, especially this year, Rick,
yeah,
we really put out our dates early. I mean, in November, we already had our dates already, and our flyers already going out in November and December, which that honestly was this year has probably been the earliest that I've done, uh, you know, promote our shows, our
yeah,
tour, but a lot of it has to do now too, Rick, is that we have our dates, we're going back to the same facilities, same venues, year after year already. So it makes that does make life easier for us,
yeah,
that right after we finish the show, we're already trying to lock in, the next year's date so
yeah.
that people can work around our schedule, or we're not conflicting with anyone else's annual events that they have. It's just,
Absolutely.
Rick, I mean, on your website, how many, just on your website, how many shows are you always updating? You're
Well,
up.
updating, and then their shows fall on the same date. I'm not even gonna make the SoCal show because I'm gonna be in Tampa,
Tampa.
Florida. in the
Yeah.
same day. I mean, but they're two sides of the country, so I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, that's one of the things where, like you said, you're putting out these events, you're putting out the flyers. You're trying not to step on other people's toes. You're trying to have your own event in your own area and finding these venues. I mean, how hard is it to like find a venue that you can stick with? I think as a car show promoter, uh, I think that's an ongoing battle with that, right?
Yeah, with of course, even when I was in a car club, even when I was in Impala's car club, and we would have our annual toy drives or our turkey drives, or anything that we had to do with the car club. A lot of times we would outgrow it. We'd outgrow it. Now we're looking for a new spot, and it's the same thing. With us, now with me being a promoter, sometimes we look at the venues that we have. The opportunity to rent, and sometimes the venue, sometimes we outgrow it the first year, and we're kind of stuck, like where do we go next? Because let's face it, Rick, there's either you're at a fairgrounds or
Mhm.
you're at a convention center. Those are the two places that we can pretty much we have the ability to rent and throw a car show
Yeah.
and concert, because like I tell people, when it's a car show, the concert too is a big part of the lifestyle.
Yeah.
The car show, and then you of course want the concert, and of course now the car hop.
Yeah.
The car hoppers. They're being recognized as an artist. A music artist is.
Yeah.
You got car hoppers that are
It's
putting on a show.
it's their own entertainment inside,
Yeah.
because when you go to a car show and you can't, sometimes it's hard to do both at the same time, especially, well, for me, like trying to cover it and record and take pictures.
Mhm.
But in general, you're gonna have the people that go there for the hop, and you're gonna have the people to go there to see the cars. And even if it's a, let's just say it's a big show, you're not gonna be able to do both. You got to pick one. So you're gonna have, some of your friends are gonna want to see the hop, some of your friends are gonna go check out all the cars, and so, but the hop has become its own beast, and it could take a couple hours, and when you say, oh, it's going to be from this time, good luck with that.
No, it's the hops are usually all day. Like, let's face it, in LA, it's an all day hop.
Yeah.
It's either you pick or choose. You either gonna go see the car hop for a while, and
Mhm.
then after you get tired of looking at the car hop, you go check out the concert for a little bit, and then so you're back and forth, or you're walking around doing some shopping and buying some stuff from the vendors. Another thing too that's been hitting pretty good for us is the RC cars. A lot of the kids, they're getting involved with, bringing their RC cars to the show and being part of the car show, just like their dads are, or their uncles, or whoever's got their cars there. I mean, the kids are actually getting into the RC cars pretty heavily now, more than, than before. I mean, before it was the lowrider bike. You would start
Yeah.
off with the lowrider bike, or if you had a pedal car,
Mhm.
you would build a pedal car, and then you move up to a lowrider bike, and then you move up to a car. If you're lucky, you get your car. Now some of these kids are starting real early, and they're coming in with the remote control cars.
Yep.
Which that's we've had to delegate spaces for that too now. We have to, where are we going to put the cars, the RC cars, or where are we going to put the vendors that have, companies that have, things to, anything to do with RC cars. So
Yeah.
it's growing. The shows are definitely growing compared to when we first started. I mean, like I tell you, like I've said it to you a lot of times, Rick. We're working with a lot of great promoters,
Mhm.
that have their own, they have their own area. There's some promoters out of Texas that we're working with. There's some promoters, like you mentioned, Carlos having the Tampa show out there in
Yeah.
Miami. We have another guy, Joe, out of New Mexico, that we've communicated with. We got Jose out of now that's doing the Dallas show, and working on another show too from Kansas City.
Mhm.
And we're trying to network. We're trying to network with promoters that have done car shows, so that we can actually put on a really good tour all the way across the United States. And having the magazine, being able to print the magazine. We're going back to print.
Yeah.
We got a new issue coming out in the next couple of weeks we should have it before the tour starts.
Okay.
And we tried the digital. We had the digital up for a couple of years, and
Yeah.
it's okay. I mean, we've sold digital before, but people actually, we've done okay with the digital, but nothing like having an actual magazine in your hands that we can give to someone, or people can buy and they can scroll through it and look.
Well,
And
but that goes back to the old school because people want the tangible magazine. They want it in hand. They want to be able to sit there and go, look, my car's in this.
right,
It's a traditional thing to have. The
right.
digital thing has, I don't think any platform has done any success with a digital thing, unless it's a book or something which people read on their,
Tablets,
their tablets and
yeah.
stuff. But ultimately, it goes back. See, you have two different directions you're going in. With the RC cars, it's the new generation. You're adding to the shows. It's also saying, that there's new people coming to these events, new people that are interested in low riding. And a lot of people don't understand why we continuously have these shows, why you continuously do make the effort to have these different events throughout the country, not along just the state. But it's growing, but you have people getting older too, but it's still there. There's still room for, all these different shows.
I mean, for me myself, Rick, I mean, having a magazine, having something that I can actually physically
Mm,
walk up to you and show you, what we do or who we are. To me, that's the best tool that I can have,
mm,
and especially, doing these car shows, across the United States. People want to see themselves. They come to the shows so that they can show off their masterpiece, or their rides, or their bikes, or whatever they have. And it's always been in our nature that, hey man, we, even if we had a little small picture,
mm,
in the magazine, we all grew up admiring, the Lowrider magazine, wanting to, be in that magazine, whatever we built, being in that magazine. So being at the San Jose, being that I'm born and raised in San Jose, and the magazine came out of San Jose, it's always been in me, to say, hey, look at our magazine. A lot of times I've always told people, you don't have to buy it. Just look at it. Look at it. And if you like it, you'll buy it.
yeah,
You'd be surprised, Rick, how many people, they look at it, they scroll through a few pages, and then they buy it.
yeah,
And even after after we started the Impalas magazine, we started the America Bombs magazine. And even the America Bombs magazine, when I first started the
mm,
America Bombs with Steven, you know, who bombs weren't even as big as what they are now. I
yeah,
mean, the bombs have taken off. They've taken off no different than the Impalas
mhm,
taking off by themselves. And now we have to separate the books, because there's not a there's a lot of content
mhm,
that has to go into the bombs magazine, and just like there's a lot of features and car shows coverage, and anniversaries that we try to put in our magazine.
yep,
And when we first started, we were actually putting both books together and
mm,
having that reverse flip, and
yeah.
it worked great for a few issues, and then we decided, hey, you know what, man, it's time to separate these books, and that's how we're going to continue to keep the magazine. We're going to continue to keep both magazines separate, moving on. And Rick, it's like like I tell everybody, we're trying our best. We're trying our best. We're going to continue to do what we do, because it's something that I personally, I live it. I low ride just like anyone else that comes and supports us. You know what I'm saying?
So going back to the magazine, what you're saying, so like a lot of people don't understand, like there's the Impala guys, there's the G body guys, there's the bomb guys, there's subsets. They're like not subsets, but subgenres of low riding.
Right.
But when it comes down to the magazines and stuff like that, so I mean, somebody that's had the magazine for so many all these years now and everything, the main thing that people don't understand why we don't see these magazines out consistently is there's not that many printers anymore and distributors. You basically got to pay to get it printed and distribute yourself now, pretty much.
No, that's true, Rick. I mean, the days of going back and hustling, printing a magazine, and number one, the number one, revenue of a magazine is trying to get advertisers,
Yeah.
And now with social media and everybody running boost ads and running their own ads for their own businesses,
Yeah.
a lot of times they look at, well, why should we advertise in a magazine when we can actually advertise on social media for free, and so for us it's kind of, we've had to adapt to, like, what are we going to do, what are we going to do to print the magazine and be able to generate, number one, our money back from
Yeah.
printing it, and the time that we put into the graphic designer and creating the magazine, and just the photographers and the editors writing the stories. So we had to kind of rely on back, go back to the beginning, where where Sonny Madrid printed those magazines in his living room and stapled them, and then he went out and hustled them. Larry Gonzalez and Sonny, going out there and going to all the lowrider happenings and telling people, hey, check out what we got. It's the new thing. And so I kind of, to me, I've kind of stayed to that. I mean, I've kind of stayed grounded to going back and having the magazines in my hands,
Yeah.
so I can push them, especially at our car shows, at our shows that we're doing now. We talked about, giving out goodie bags, to the registration guys when they register, maybe, getting a bag and putting a magazine in there with some stickers and,
Mm.
even, stuff from our advertisers or our vendors that support us,
Yeah.
So, that's in the works. We're definitely going to try to do something like that where, we have the magazine, and once we get the magazine, there's no reason, we really do want it to be in the hands of the car guys that are supporting
Yeah.
us, the motorcycle guys that are coming, to our shows, and bomb guys that are coming to our shows, but like I always tell people, the main features, the main features in our magazine are Impalas on the Impalas magazine, or bombs, if you're in the bomb magazine. But when we cover car shows, Rick, I always tell photographers, when you're going to submit your pictures,
Mm.
submit me 50 or 60 pictures of Cadillacs and Regals and lowrider bikes, and you can't help but put a couple Impalas in there too,
Yeah.
or bombs. But like I tell people, the photographers, especially, I tell the photographers, when you're going to submit your pictures, don't just send me a bunch of Impalas, don't send me a bunch of bombs, because
Yeah.
we already have those cars featured in our books,
Yeah.
so we're definitely trying to show love to everyone that comes to our show, and of course, it's hard, Rick, because you only have so many pages that you can work with, for every show or every event. And so when I'm laying out the magazine and I'm sitting there working with the graphic designer, I'm looking for stuff that, that's outside the box, outside of what the Impalas, what people would think, okay, Impalas magazine, so many people, Rick, when we first started, so many people used to think that Impalas, it's an only Impala car show.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, it's only going to be Impalas. We can't go because we have a Jeep body, or we got a Cadillac, or we got a Volkswagen, or whatever. So I've had to really work on, letting people know that
Mm.
our car shows, bro, they're open to everyone. They're open to anyone, 2 wheels or 4 wheels, or pedal cars, or like now RC cars. So
Yeah.
we're trying to open, we pretty much open the doors, and we allow everything to come. And our judges are great.
Mm.
We work with 2-3 different judging crews, and they're we try to make categories,
Yeah.
for the people that are there, and the categories are sometimes made up the weekend of the show,
Mm.
because the judges have to see what they're working with. What of course we keep our we keep our traditionals categories that we have, and we always adding new categories to the show, because there's always different styles of cars that are coming,
Yeah.
but I mean, going back to, like I said, the magazine, we're definitely already on our 15th year, the magazine. And Jesse Jimenez is my editor, along with Ruben is my graphic designer.
Mm.
And we have probably about 6 or 7 you know, photographers that have been with me. We've got women photographers like Suzanne, to
Mhm.
guys, photographers, and we even got up and newcomers, young kids that are grabbing the camera now, Rick, and
Yeah.
shooting. You know what I'm saying? And we do have photographers we have photographers from here all the way to Miami that we work with, and every time we have a new issue, we reach out to the photographers, and we, I ask them, what do you guys have in the archives? What do you guys have that we
Yeah.
can, we can feature? Sometimes, we don't like to shoot people's cars, and then have to wait a while, but lately it's been like a little roller coaster, with
Yeah.
COVID and getting out of COVID. And you hit it right on the head, bro. I mean, the distributor, we used to have a distributor that we would give our magazines to, and they would distribute them out to all the stores, 7-Elevens, liquor stores. And right after COVID, right when COVID hit, they didn't want to touch nothing. They
Yeah.
didn't want our magazines. They were like, no, we don't have drivers. We can't send drivers out to distribute them, so
Well,
we're gonna.
it was going down before then even, but it was just because people wanted to go digital. But it just seems like in the car culture, it doesn't work. The digital does not have the same feel. You know what I mean? It's
But you gotta listen. But you
give out
gotta
a
go.
digital award, right? Like you know what? Here, it's gonna be on the website. You can print it at home. You
but
know?
Rick. Sometimes you kind of gotta flow with it too. If people say, "Well, that's what's gonna work," the printing is becoming a dinosaur. It's
Mhm.
coming obsolete. Nobody's gonna want to. Nobody's gonna print no more. But they're, like I said, we've adapted to the digital. I'm old school, so I got to go back to printing the magazine, because that's what we started doing, and that's what we're going to continue to do, is print the magazine. And that way, when your car is featured, man,
Mm,
all you gotta do is grab the magazine and open it up and say, here, look, man, this is what my car looks like, instead of,
exactly.
hey, hold on, go online and find it, and
Yeah.
so to me, I know that we're going to continue to stay printing for a long time, as long as we can do it.
Yeah.
And as far as the car shows, that's just been something that we started doing after the magazine got printed, after we a few years after, because that does help us. That helps us become a household name, where people know who we are. And like I said, Rick, Impalas, everybody knows it's the most wanted car, and low
Yeah.
riding is an Impala. But like I tell people, we're also a brand. Shit, Rick, I working on a been working on this for a few years. Got an Impala tequila in the works right now. We're actually gonna come out with our own own bottle of tequila, and
Yeah.
we're gonna export it from Mexico, and we're gonna start bringing it into the United States, and with in our own bottles, and
Yeah.
manufactured in Guadalajara, Jalisco. And it, along with our clothing, our clothing shirts, our shirts, our hats. So we've been hitting the streets pretty hard with our brand. And we've been very successful with
Yeah.
people accepting us, as a major player in the low riding game.
Well, I mean, it'd be safe to say you probably have one of the biggest tours out there right now. I mean, I know there's always the competition, but the at the end of the day, you're putting on some of the biggest shows. I mean, at one point you had at Stockton, I think was it a couple years back, you had 1,400 entries.
Shoot, bro, like the year after COVID, I think the year right after COVID,
Mm,
it was crazy, bro. I mean, everybody was dying to get out, and
yeah,
so we did have, like, I want to say we hit. I remember telling the judges, let's shut it, let's close it at 1,000 cars, and the judges are like, no, man, you're gonna get another 200-300 tomorrow morning, and this was on Saturday night, and I remember the judges telling me, no, you're gonna, don't piss no one off, because a lot of people are coming tonight and they're gonna be
yeah,
here tomorrow morning. So yeah, the next morning we had another almost 400 cars roll in, and we hit that 1,400. I remember running out of judges, judging cards, and like I
yeah,
was like, what do we do? I've never printed that. I know I've never had that many cars show up to the show, and we did, and the judges, they did a great job. They had, they had their work cut out for them that year. And
Yeah.
again, Rick, we had, we've had 7 shows, we've had 6 shows, we're down to 5 right now. It's just finding out what cities are best, for us to be at, what makes more sense. Like I tell some of these promoters, if there's already 1 or 2 guys in a city, why do you want to go into that same city
Yeah.
and step on each other's toes and fight for the same cars or car club guys to support you, and the same exhibitors to come, to your show? And now you're trying to, now you're fighting for, and you're stepping on each other's toes, and a
Yeah.
lot of,
Watering down the scene, and then
yes,
everybody loses because, hey, I went to the show already last month. You know what I mean? Why am I gonna go this month? I'm gonna go do something with my kids, or I'm gonna go to this other show. It's pick and choose. You can sit there, and it doesn't always work for trying to keep going because the city's popular.
correct, are the same venue, Rick.
Oh yeah.
I've seen shows at the same place, 2 or 3 shows throughout the year at the same venue, and it's like, how many times are you going to use that same spot? I mean, it's cool if it's cool if you got one guy already there. If you got one promoter that's there, hey, you know what? Yeah, respect them. Respect the promoter, and find another venue. Find
Yeah.
another venue that you can throw a car show at.
Yeah.
And make it yours. But that's the hard part sometimes, Rick, is going when you go to smaller cities or you're in a smaller area. Here in California, we got great weather,
Mm.
and we got so many car clubs and so many solo riders that you can have some, like in LA, you can have 2 or 3 shows on the same weekend, and each show can have 500 or 700 cars.
Oh yeah.
And they're successful. But then there's some cities where you go to where, let's face it, Rick, there's only a few hundred cars there. You know what I'm saying? And you're trying to have a show, 1 month before the next guy has his show, and
Yeah.
it doesn't work, man. Like I tell people, it's just, I think among us promoters, we're trying to work along with everyone to let's respect let's respect what we've already planted, or we've been working. If we've been working somewhere, respect that man's area. Help him instead of stepping on his toes. Let's try to help you. How can we help you? Build that show so that it could be a successful show.
Yeah.
So that maybe the next one I'm having 4 cities from you is maybe when I have mine, you're helping me. So that's what we've been doing, Rick. We've been communicating with the promoters, and like I said, there's a lot of great promoters, man. There's a lot of great promoters that are got the same vision that I should say I got.
Yeah.
But
when the one thing in over the last couple of years, and I've been in the behind the scenes and with most promoters, and I do almost all your shows. The one of the big thing is there's some promoters that insist on trying to get indoor only events.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's like a combination. A lot of people ask me, because I'm from San Jose, and this, there's not a lot of venues. Like you could sit there and say, the Takeover show. Okay, not last year he was at the LA Convention Center, but the year before when he was doing Anaheim. That place is freaking huge, and it's all indoor, and it's like over 1,000 cars, like easy. There's no venue that holds that type of car indoor in Northern California.
No, we don't have it. We don't have it anywhere in North from Bakersfield to Seattle. There's not a venue that big like LA does. When the Takeover, Rick and Nacho from the Takeover, they're major props to those brothers. They to be able to rent a facility to put 1,000 cars, it's a dream. It's only a dream for us because we don't have those facilities in our area. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we have fairgrounds that we can rent, but again, it's like having 2 different shows. A fairground show and an all indoor show are 2 different two different complete shows. You have to deal,
Yeah.
you
And
have to
that's the
deal with
San Jose Convention Center. You said you're looking at hopefully putting in how many cars this year?
500, and that's only 300 cars and 200 bikes. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how we have to split that up in order to get 500 cars or 500 entries, I should say. But even with, when you're dealing with the, indoor facility, Rick, like I tell people, it's a lot harder for me when I'm dealing with an indoor place than when I'm dealing with an outdoor place.
Yeah.
When it's a fairgrounds, there's they're a lot lenient to
Yeah.
what we can do, as far as, from all the way as far as having our own food vendors,
Yeah.
letting car clubs bring ice chests, with sodas and waters and cold cuts, and even letting car clubs barbecue with propane barbecues. We can do that at the outdoor, when we rent fairgrounds, but when we rent convention centers, or like in Washington, the Tacoma Dome,
Yeah.
we can't do that. You have to go by what they, what they're imposing, their food vendors, their beverage, they have to handle the beverage, fire marshals,
Yep.
the quarter tank of gas, disconnecting their batteries, stuff that we don't have to worry so much about when we're doing the fairgrounds, but
And then,
it's part of the game, Rick. It's part of
yeah.
the business. It's if, like, everybody. I think you noticed the last 4 or 5 years, the level of shows have jumped from what they used to, what we were used to going to. For many years, we were used to going to indoor outdoor shows. Because in our area, let's face it, Rick, the convention centers, you're talking an arm and a leg to rent a convention center.
Yeah.
And then all you can get is 300 cars and 200 bikes. I mean, that doesn't even pay that doesn't even pay the rent. So you're stressing out before the show even, happens. You're making sure that, number one, you want to try to at least get your money back, and at least try to break even.
Right. And really where you're going to get your money back is the people walking in the door.
The spectators. That's that's where, but again too, Rick, you don't want to make it too expensive for the spectators either, because then the spectators won't come with their families. If you're spending, if you got the ticket too expensive and you got to bring your wife and your 2 kids, and you're talking, $200 to walk in the door before it even starts. Let's face it, bro. And you still got to buy food and something to drink, and that hurts. Yeah, that hurts. Not only does it hurt, us when we put the ticket prices too high, but it also hurts the vendors that come and support us.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're there. The vendors are there, no different than we are. They're trying to make a living too. They're trying to sell what they bring. And some of these vendors, Rick, I mean, I got vendors that are traveling from Denver, Arizona, Washington, Reno. They come to our shows because they're trying to travel. They're trying to go out and look for customers, from different places. Some of these vendors sell their own, items that nobody else can get.
Exactly. I mean, back in the day when I was just going to car shows before I was an actual photographer, I would go to the car shows, and one of the first things I looked for was the shirts, because they were unique. There were things you're not finding at the mall.
Exactly.
Something tailored to Chicano, to our lifestyle. It was before DGATs. It was before, all these different things. You'd find these unique shirts, and and you would meet people, and they give you their card, and then they had their like website, because that still was all new. But it's just like, in general, if you wanted to find this clothing and stuff like that you're not going to find anywhere else, custom made stuff. People make some of this stuff by hand because they're trying to be unique and bring things to the lifestyle. But that's where you're going to see these vendors more than anything, is at these car shows, because of the people that are there.
Yeah, that's true, Rick. And like I said, we've noticed over the few years that everyone says, their shows are super shows.
Mm-hmm.
A long time ago, a super show was not ever, you didn't really hear of everyone calling their shows super shows, because there was only one super show that we do every year that it was the grand finale, you know, and every other shows that were in different cities were called, they were called by their name, Stockton Super Show or the Stockton Lowrider Show or the Stockton Car Show, and now it's everyone calling their shows or super shows. So we have to kind of step up our game a little bit too, to be able to say that we're in that category. And a lot of it has to start with the facility, Rick. The facility has a major play in when you're throwing a car show. I'm not knocking anyone else's shows. Believe me, bro, I started with high school shows, throwing car shows for the high school kids and giving it back to the athletic department or sober grads. I did a car show, just for the sober grads because, they needed the money to be able to, have their, graduation and be sober and they needed money. So what did I do? We threw a car show and we gave all the money back to the high school. Same thing. I lived in a small town and the high school kids, the football team always got the most money was the football team, but everyone else, the athletic department didn't get none. They were handing down, uniforms and mats that were all ripped and everything. What did they ask? They needed money, and here we did. We did a car show for them, and we raised. I think it was the first year we raised like $15,000 for the wrestling team, and they were like, I remember the coach even telling the principal, "Yeah, we don't need nothing. We got our new mats. We got uniforms for our wrestlers." And I remember the principal calling me the next year and telling me, "Hey, Mark, do you mind if I spread that money out to other, sports, divisions like, our volleyball team or, our softball team?" And I was like, "No." I said, "That's what it's for. It's for the kids to be able to have access to it." And, like I said, Rick, I that's how we started. We started off with throwing benefit shows, and, just happened that Stockton opened the doors for us. After not having a car show in Stockton for over 20 years, Stockton was, the board of directors finally said, "Hey, we want to throw, we would like to throw a car show, and we hear that you do good shows." And, like I told, I've always said it to everybody, what goes around comes around. And, doing those benefit shows, I did them out of my own heart, to help the kids, but at the same time, it did help me, it did help me build up my reputation to be able to go into a major city and throw an event like what we're doing now and show, not only the police department, but the actual city and the people that we're working with, that we can throw a great show and people can come have a great time and go home, and do it again the next year.
I've been going to the Stockton show like routinely now, and then there's been a couple times when you have it on the same weekend at Chicano Park, and then people are like, "Were you in San Diego?" And I said, "Yeah, I flew out there for the day, and I came back, and I came to Stockton." And then
I try to keep it, Rick. I've I've kept it the last, I think 5 or 6 years. I've kept it the last week of April. It's always the week before Cinco de Mayo. If it rains,
rain date,
it rains on us, we always go in May. We usually try to, we try to keep the last week of May. We try to keep it at least 1 month apart from the original date. And I think I've only had to use my rain date once, at
then COVID it went like all the way, like you had that was the only time it changed, like complete different.
It completely changed to almost the end of the year because they weren't allowing anything, during COVID. So we had to
tell that day.
we actually had to wait until they actually opened up, outdoor events, and then that year we had to keep it as an all outdoor event only, but like I said, it was weird. It's been weird. It's been like a roller coaster. We've always been consistent. That's one thing that we're trying to stay is consistent. We're trying to keep our dates that we've already started with so that people kind of know already, what our dates are. And it's getting a little easier, Rick. It is getting a little easier than when I first started. The hard part is when we go into a new city. When we go into a new city that we haven't been there yet, or we don't know how the police department's going to be with us. We don't know how the fire marshal's going to be with us. We don't even know how the venue's going to be with us, because, like what I tell people is that I can rent the venue and deal with somebody, but then they turn that person is not the person that we deal with for the
Next
car
year.
show.
Yeah.
They gave me an event coordinator, and then the event coordinator is the person that we're working with. So sometimes, the person that you actually you start working with at first it ends up that person just does the contracts,
Yeah.
and just gets us the date, and then we actually have to work with an event coordinator, and sometimes, Rick, that event coordinator stays there for years, and sometimes you go back the following year and it's a different event coordinator, and that event coordinator doesn't even have a clue on what the show was the year before. So we have to sit there and we have to educate them, and a lot of times it's too, if we have if our staff is on point, and they're doing what they're supposed to do, it makes us look like we know what we're doing, and it makes our job a lot easier, when we're trying to show,
It's also intimidating though, because I mean, you got to think about it. We're lowriders, right? So a lot of OGs in app, right? So you get these like younger business guys, and they're like, "Oh, I'm the coordinator. I
Yeah.
went to 3 colleges to do this," and then
Yeah.
they're like, "What's up, Holmes? Where we gonna park?" It's like,
no, it's
oh my
true.
God, like, it's culture shock, and
Hey.
and I see it. They're like they don't know what to think, but they're like, hey, we know what we're doing.
It's weird, Rick, because like I said, it's the weekend of the show, Rick, you've had a chance to kind of ride along with me sometimes, and you've even had a chance to be with us from staying where we're staying at the
Yeah.
Airbnb house, to the either
Taking
staying
down.
at a hotel, taking down or cleaning up, or and you've
Taking up
seen
the
it, bro. And
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen us. I mean, like I tell people, I'm surprised, Rick, that I still have hair, bro, because I stress out so much, and
Yeah.
my wife always tells me, it's gonna be all right. You choose to do this.
Yeah.
I said, no, you're right. I did choose to do this, but
you're in the zone. You're in a zone.
but
at
I'm
that
in the zone. I'm in the zone because a lot of times the facility, they're looking at us. They're looking at what we're gonna do, or if we're gonna screw up, or we're gonna do this the right way. And
Yeah.
a lot of times it's communicating with the car clubs and just saying, hey, you know what? Is there one person that speaks for your club?
Yeah.
Can we get one person to kind of be like the person that I can go to, and then we can try to move everybody in at one time, and you can coordinate and help me with that, with you guys moving in 60 cars or 50 cars, or even 10 cars, whatever it is. It's just it's communication, Rick, and a lot of times it's like I always tell people, if we're throwing a car show that has 1,000 cars, that's 1,000 different attitudes.
Yeah.
Everybody has their, even me, bro. I mean, I'm the same way.
Everybody's, oh, well, Mark said I could do
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
and I can bring 2 extra cars, and we can just show up the day of an all indoor show with everything was sold out, but we're just gonna bring in extra shit. But Mark said it was okay, and they're standing in front of you, and you're like, I am Mark. I didn't.
Or like sometimes I also tell people, there's a reason why we tell people to go get your package, go get your registration package.
Yeah.
So that when you drive in, you have everything. You have your judging card, you have your wristbands, and so that Sunday morning you're like, well, I didn't get that. Well, if you would have stopped at the registration booth and picked it up. But no, some of the guys, they when they say, when we tell people you pre-reg, pre-reg so that we know we can have your package ready. You know what I'm saying? So that we know when you get there, we have your name on the list, we have your envelope ready for you, and there's a registration booth where we ask everybody just to stop and grab their stuff. Grab your stuff, so that when you're already inside the facility or the fairgrounds or the convention center, Saturdays when we're doing the days of moving, we're not asking nobody for their tickets. We're not asking for nobody to put their wristbands on. It's Sunday, Sunday morning, that small window that we have, that we have to have whatever cars, people that want to come in and clean up their cars, and get them ready for the show before the doors open. That's why we tell people, grab your package, so that Sunday morning you're not having a hard time trying to get in. Well, I didn't get my package. Well, that's because you drove right in and you set up and you didn't even go to the registration booth and
Yeah.
pick up the package, you know. So we tell people a lot of people have gotten to the point that, you know, they're the same car guys or the same group of guys that come, and we've got it to where we're working with one individual
Yeah.
from, you know, their group, and we're coordinating stuff with one person, which makes life a lot easier for me too, Rick.
Yeah. That definitely that. And I was kind of gonna go into that too because everybody like, hey, Mark's a fucking asshole on moving day,
Oh
and
man, I
and
hear that a lot, Rick. You don't
it's
got
like
to say it. Yeah.
okay, but it's like you guys got to understand he's got a time limit to do this, and he's already given the instructions. You're asking if you can, do something random, and he's gonna look at you like, there's times when I ask you some stupid question because I like didn't know, and you're just like look at me like, just come back here. I'm like,
Right.
I'm
Right.
good.
And you know, sometimes, Rick,
Get it. You got to get it. People got to get it. You're the man. Everything goes through you.
you don't know how many times, you don't know how many times my wife hears my name. You know, Mark said this. I already talked to Mark, and a lot of times I tell people the same thing. Well, if you're gonna ask me the weekend of the show, I gotta be fair with everyone. I gotta be fair, and I gotta treat you no different than I'm gonna treat the last person that asked me for probably the same thing that you're asking me.
Mhm.
But if you call me like the week of the show, when I'm laying everything out, if I can do it, Rick, I'll do it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? If I know that, okay, you guys want to bring, let's just say, an ice chest with
Mhm.
sodas and waters, bring it in during the move-in time.
Yeah.
You know, bring it in during the move-in days. Please don't ask me at 11 o'clock when we open the front doors. You know, when people are starting to come in, and I'm dealing with the facility, I'm dealing with security, I'm dealing with, making sure that the ticket guys are there to,
Yep.
people's tickets are getting scanned right. And then you walk up and you say, "Hey, can I bring my ice chest in through the front door?" When the facility is when the facility is actually selling the beverage,
Yeah.
selling the soda, selling the water, selling the beer, and you're asking me right in front of the person that I'm probably, my event coordinator, my answers are going to be no. My answer is always going to be no, because I have to follow instructions,
Yeah.
like the instructions that I'm giving to everyone. They're giving me the same instructions.
So
Sometimes,
yeah. So with that's the thing. A lot of people in every promoter. I mean, it could be the Las Vegas Convention Center. It could be whatever. A lot of people don't understand that the security that in the yellow usually is their security that you do
right?
pay for, but they don't answer to you
No,
directly.
no, they answer to the
And they
facility,
have very specific rules stating there's no food, no
right?
coolers, no
Right.
nothing on the day of the show. When you move in, bring that shit that day.
No,
If
it's
if
true,
there's
Rick.
leeway with you and you decide that that's something that you're gonna allow, the only way it's gonna happen is if they come in the day before.
Right, right.
Even if they try to bring ice in,
That's another thing.
they
That's another
still
thing I was going to tell you. That's another thing I was going to speak on, was the ice. Here you got here you got individuals walking through the front door with 20-pound bags of ice, and the security guards looking at me like, well, "What's this ice for?" You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, oh, that's for their display. That's for their card display. And the security guards, bro, they're just like me and you, Rick.
yeah,
They're not dumb. They're not dumb. You got guys coming in with bags of ice. Well, that ice has got to be going into somebody's cooler. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
And a lot of times it makes us look bad because, we're trying to be fair with everybody. We
yeah,
try to be. I've been, Rick. I've been on the other side, taking my cars to car shows, waiting in line to get in.
mm,
Setting up a car, wanting to, something to drink when you're setting it up, and you're out there for 10 hours putting your car up on jack stands, cleaning
yep,
it up. I don't want to have to go wait in line to go buy a $5 bottle of water. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's face it, Rick. I mean, it's expensive now just to take a car,
yeah, yeah,
anywhere. Even if you just want to hit the boulevard,
yeah.
man, it's $100 to fill up a tank of gas now in an old school car. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I know how it is, Rick. I mean, like I said, bro, I try to be fair with everyone because I am that lowrider dude. I am a lowrider guy. Not a lot of people say, well, Mark, we see you at the car shows, and sometimes we just see you passing out flyers. Man, if it was up to me, I'd love to take a car, but sometimes I can't do both. I can't take a car and clean up the car, get it ready, take it to the show, and then still try to promote our booth or set up our booth. It's sometimes too hard for me because I'm just one individual. I'm one person.
And
You
this is
know,
that's what they call it, like the curse of being an entrepreneur. You no longer see people and you work for yourself. So a lot of people don't understand this is that once you start working for yourself, there is no days off, there is no minutes
no,
off. It's
no.
24/7. And just for doing photography and everything like that. Like when you go in there and you're gonna go do this, and I go to a show, I tell people this is a one-hitter quitter. There ain't no I fucked up and I'll come back tomorrow. And
Right.
what you got to do, you got to get things done before the doors open, before the fire, the
Oh,
and
there's so much planning that
you're
goes.
intense. It's intensity for you. So when people just come up and start asking you, can I bring flowers in? It's like, what does that have to do with anything right now? I got to deal with the fire marshal. I got to deal with security and the police. You're not going to have the greatest attitude when it's coming down to the last minute and you got to open those doors on time.
Right. And
You're
and you're and it could be just a little. It could just be the littlest thing, Rick. It can be a club canopy. It can be a canopy that they put up indoors
Mhm,
that's not fire resistant. It doesn't have the fire resistant tag,
mhm.
and the fire marshal's making a big deal about it. Well, you can't have that up, and you're looking for the individual that owns it or the car club that owns
Yeah.
the canopy, and you're trying to, okay, well, let's take it down so that we can open the doors and get the line in that's been
Yep.
out there for an hour waiting to get in. So a lot of times it is very stressful. Like I tell people, Rick, I love, like I said, sometimes when, in the beginning of the year, like right now, in the beginning of the year when there's just cruises, I
Yeah.
love just going to cruises, Rick. I mean, you see me out there just walking around because honestly, bro, I don't have a stress. I don't have a
Yeah.
stress in the world. Like I said, I don't have to worry about, you know,
You're
I am
actually there to enjoy the
I'm actually there to
culture.
enjoy it,
You're not
to
you're not
enjoy
working.
it, man. And my wife, I even got her a car because she kept telling me, "How come we don't take your cars out?" So I ended up building my wife a car so that she could take it when she wants to go out, even if I'm just a passenger side, sitting in the passenger, and she gets out there and she wants to cruise with her girls. I jump out the car sometimes and I just post up on the side and just watch everybody cruise or talk to people that are out there. But a lot of times, Rick, is I don't have the time sometimes to
Yeah.
take my rides out. I'm gonna start taking them out a little bit more now because, like my wife, she's got her car and I rather follow her in my own car,
Mhm.
in case something happens. But again, we're always on any given weekend, we're always promoting what we're doing throughout the year,
Yeah.
and sometimes I tell my wife, when I only had one show, Rick, when I
Yeah.
was only had one show, I honestly, I honestly didn't have, after that one show happened, I didn't have to worry about nothing else after
Yeah.
that because we didn't have, our show again until the following year.
Yeah.
But now that we have 5 or 6 shows, we're always on the go. We're always promoting, what's the next show or where we're gonna be at next, and it just, that's like you said, that's the thing of if you have your business, it's no
Mhm.
different of like no, it's no different than if you own your own business.
Yeah.
There's no days off, Rick. When you
Yeah.
when you own your own business, there is no days off. You're lucky if you get Christmas and New Year's Day off because let's face it, typically those are days that
Yeah.
everybody's closed, for the holidays. But other than that, you're working
Well,
every other day. Yeah,
today
you work
Bowl
7 days a week.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, today's Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm trying to get this in, and we're trying to get this in so we can get it out and
Yeah.
spread the word because there's gonna be some shows coming out, and it's like, well, you have the SoCal, which is it's Orange County Fairgrounds, right?
It's Orange County. It's Costa Mesa. It's
Also
the
miss
Orange County Fairgrounds. Some people know it as Costa Mesa. Some people know it as the OC Fairgrounds.
That's just
Again,
gonna have a big hop there, and then you're gonna have the show, and then you're gonna go to Stockton. What do you? I mean, so you have Tierra they're coming to Stockton.
so we got tierra. We got tierra. To be honest with you, we got tierra in Arizona.
Uh huh.
we got Tierra in Stockton,
Mm.
and we're most likely going to have Tierra in San Jose with another band. I don't want to say the other major headliner yet because we're still in the works with
Yeah.
bringing, but it's gonna be somebody big for San Jose. If over the years, Rick, in Stockton, we've had the Barcades, we've had SOS Band, we've had Midnight Star, we've had One Way, we've had Malo, we had El Chicano, we've had a lot of groups in Stockton.
Yeah.
And now that we're actually pushing the show in San Jose, we're gonna definitely go back to bringing those old school groups to San Jose and using the same platform that we've used in Stockton. We're going to use the same platform in San Jose to finish the year in San Jose. So Tierra is one group that we're starting with in Arizona, March 8th.
Okay.
And then, SoCal, we got Mac 10 in SoCal with Lady Old School, and we got Angel Baby, which is the new he's the new Art Lobo, taking over Lobo's radio stations and Sunday night oldie show. And of course, Gangster out there from Gangster's Trunks, that's his show. We're collaborating with him. Of course, everything gets ran through the website, Impalas Magazine, car registration, vendors. I'll be taking care of the vendors. So that is March 29th. And we're, to be honest with you, Rick, we're a little bit over 500 cars already for that show. Arizona, we're over 500 cars for Arizona. Stockton, we're close to 400 cars in Stockton already. Washington, that's open. The registration's open for Washington too. And San Jose, we're got a lot of people asking me, when is registration going to open up for San Jose? Well, one thing I got to let everybody know too in San Jose is that when we do open the registration in March, I'm sorry, in April, right off the back, I got to designate 100 spots.
Wow.
Or those cars, Rick, that actually qualify at any of our other shows. So even though we have, let's just say, even though we're gonna accept 500 registrations, we're only gonna probably accept 200 cars and maybe 200 motorcycles. First come, first serve. The other spots I have to reserve. I have to save those for the guys that actually qualify from Arizona or qualify from SoCal or qualify from Washington, or from the Stockton show. I got to give them the opportunity to be able to register and go for the money, because some guys are competing for money, So I mean, it gets a little complicated, Rick, because people think, well, open it up. Well, if I open it up too early, especially San Jose, if I open up San Jose too early, and we sell out within, like, let's face it, we sell out within the first month, I don't want to cause myself more headaches and not be able to know that I have to save for the people that are qualifying,
Definitely. And that's how, I mean, you think about it, like you said, you're gonna do your ending show is gonna be San Jose. It's gonna be limited. I mean, even a certain amount of, like, each car club, have like a car, because it's limited space, but it's gonna be quality, and it's gonna be you got to remember San Jose, one of the birthplaces of low riding, and you're putting a lot of money. I mean, not even that, but you're just putting a lot of effort to make an indoor show that no one else is doing, and you did it last year. And just got to remember, you got to come support these other shows, get everybody hyped up, because then you come to San Jose and support that. That's an all indoor show, and the nice thing is it's in August. It's an indoor show, air conditioning, people.
Correct. Let's face it, Rick, the last few years, August has been very hot for us out here in August, and so for us, having that all indoor show, air conditioning, this past year was something that I've done in other states. But to be able to come home and do it in my own hometown, that's what I really wanted to, accomplish, and we've accomplished it. And another thing too, Rick, when you say, when you say quality cars, I mean, we had, car clubs like oldies that made it mandatory, East Side Riders, individuals,
Mhm.
Even lifestyle car club from Los Angeles.
Yep.
It hadn't been to San Jose since the late 70s. Just having them come to my show and bring a couple cars and to represent their club, and just asking them, how did you guys feel being in San Jose after so many years? And just the response of them just saying, hey, we're coming back again next year, but
Nah.
we're gonna bring 8 cars instead of 3 cars. We're gonna bring 8 cars, 8 of our cars. And there's so many car clubs. Like I said, I can sit here and we can name all the car clubs that were there. And
Yeah.
like I tell everybody, I'm just grateful and thankful that the car clubs guys, they come out and they support our events,
Yep.
and I'm gonna continue to do what I can do on my end
Mhm.
and try to make the shows as best as I can make them.
Mhm.
But again, the cars, a lot of times the cars speak for the show. When you have cars that are coming to your event that only go to a Vegas show, or you only see them in LA, and
Yeah.
you got these cars coming to a city like San Jose where you don't really see these cars that much,
Yeah.
and they're coming and they're setting up their cars full display.
Yep.
It makes us as homegrown guys, from, let's say, Northern California. Now it's a competition thing now, Rick. Now you're making me like, let's face it, you got, you know, um, the North Star, Abel's car with the 62 from San
Yep.
Jose. You got his car. You're like, okay, we know that car is one of the baddest cars that we have in NorCal. But when he doesn't really have no competition in his own backyard,
Yeah.
if there's only a few guys that he's competed with, it's like, okay, I'm going against the same guys that I've already competed with. But
Yeah.
when you bring cars like Life After Death, Ernie 62 from LA, or you bring like, let's just say, Game Killer, the
Mhm.
61, or cars from Lifestyle, and you bring them up here to Northern Cali, which they're getting out of their area for
Yeah.
the same reason, because they've already competed against the same guys.
Mhm.
Now you're talking, okay, now you got to be on your A game.
Yeah.
When you the weekend of the show, you you're touching up whatever defects is wrong with your car, because
Yep.
the judges are looking at what's wrong with your car when they're judging you. They're
Yeah.
looking at the defects of your car. They can see all the beautiness of your car and all the craftsmanship that you've done to your car. But I can tell you right now, the judges are looking for your flaws. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? That's what they go off of. If they know that your car has a few flaws, and they've seen it from the other shows that they've judged your cars, at that show right there, they're looking to see if you've actually touched them up,
Yeah.
and and you addressed them. And sometimes that's why, I tell people, that's why we've tried to have, a judging crew from, some guys from up here from the, our area, and
Yeah.
some guys from Southern California. Why? Because we try to be fair. Like I tell people, I don't have anything to do with the judging, Rick.
Hmm.
I don't judge the cars. A
Yeah.
lot of times guys will come up to me, man, I didn't win at your show. Well, I'm not the judge. I'm not the judges. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I hire a company, I hire guys, group of guys to do that,
Yeah.
that are qualified to do that. If you're gonna be mad at me because you didn't win, don't be mad at me. Go ask the judge, go ask the judge, what do I have to do to make my car maybe, compete, or
Yeah.
to beat the guy that beat me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one thing I'm telling you right now, Rick. That's one thing that I've told my judging guys, my judges. You know, give, after the show, if somebody comes up and he's not happy because he didn't win, or he feels that the guy that beat him shouldn't have beat him, I've told my guys, my judges, give him the time of day. Give
Yeah.
him the time of day. Talk to him, explain to him, what he's lacking, or what he's, not scoring high on.
Yeah.
From my head judge is Manuel, that Manuel Cordova, that builds Strictly Business. You know, I've even heard that Manuel's actually gone to a couple of these guys' houses and actually help them with, this is where you need to score more on, or this is what you need to work on, and even Bruce, with the motorcycle, he's my, motorcycle judge. And that dude has one of the baddest motorcycles here in Northern Cali, and I think it's one of the top contenders in the motorcycle Vikla, industry.
Yeah.
And he's the same thing. He'll give you, the time of day if you call him and talk to him and ask him, what do I need to do to be a contender, in the cash, but not even sometimes not even the cash, just in your category that you're going. Yeah. But like I said, Rick, I mean, shoot, bro, hey, you have always, you're always welcome.
Yeah.
I thank you for all the support that you've done, given us over the years, and all the sharing our flyers,
Yeah.
posting up our videos, and even having our shows on your YouTube, page. Like I said, I think a lot of people stay glued to you because, if you can't make it to the show, you already know you're going to see it on Pinche Lowriders. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. That's right.
So,
And the thing, you like I said, appreciate, you market with me, you promote through my venue and so on and so forth. And I cover the shows. I pretty much make it to all the shows. And, like anything else, word of mouth, people ask me about this show, that show. And, Stockton, they hear they even hear that name. They're like, Stockton. And then like, the car show is perfectly fine. Go. No one trips. It's a great fucking
no, nobody does, Rick.
gem.
Nobody
You're gonna
does.
see some gems at Stockton. Because I tell you this right now, even though how you were saying about San Jose, you still get cars that you're not gonna see on the street. You're not gonna see them in San Jose, and you're not gonna see them every day. And there's cars there that show up at Stockton. The first time I ever went to I was like, I've never seen these cars before at other shows.
Oh, we got to go and that's great. I mean, I'm actually glad you actually brought that up. We got some cars that are busting out right now that are in the works right now,
Mhm.
just for Stockton. Some
Yeah.
are homegrown guys. Some
Mhm.
are homegrown guys that live in Stockton that
Yeah.
want to bust their cars out in their hometown, and
Nice.
some are guys from the surrounding areas that, okay, we're going to go there, Mark, because we know it's always a good show,
Yeah.
so, the only problem that I do have in Stockton that is that I'm limited to indoor space because there's only 3 buildings there. But as far as people coming out and enjoying the day, you, Rick, you walk around, you filmed it, man, everyone's offering you something to eat or something to drink. And it's like being at a park, with, on any given weekend, on any given Sunday, it feels like you're literally at a park.
Yeah, it's a big picnic. It's a big
Yeah,
party, and I've said this to other people, and when some people ask about cars, but when you go to Stockton, you're gonna see people you only see in Stockton, and they haven't seen you all year, or you're not gonna see them for the rest of the year, but because you're all passing, you're passing by. But it's like once again, it's a reunion, and every year Stockton, boom, you're
yeah,
gonna see people shake people's hands, say hi, and it's a good feeling because you run into a lot of cool people, and it's a good vibe, and with the music and everything, it gets pretty fun out there.
And that's it, and it's usually the beginning of the good weather. It's the
Yeah,
beginning of us having decent weather already. The rain's already gone by. Like I said, I've only had to use my rain date once. In all the years that I've been there, Rick, and so like for us, but we always have to still have that rain date because
yeah.
you never know. But
Not in March, yeah, it's always up in the
yeah,
air. It,
April is always
it could
April's
be
always
overcast when I'm driving over there that morning. He's like, oh,
April, you got April showers, sometimes, like I tell people, but we always keep that rain date just in case. So that's why I tell people it's hard for us. We can't, we would love to be somewhere else in May, where where the weather would probably be just as good, but sometimes it's stressful, Rick. There's been years where I wanted to go to Fresno in May because I know that June, July, and August you can't be in the valley.
yeah,
But I always stress that what happens one year if we have a bad winter and I have to roll over my Stockton show till May and then have to be forced,
yeah,
having 2 shows in May, that's not going to work for us too. So
yeah,
I've just decided not to stress this out. And even now, look at, Arizona, March, we go, Arizona typically, their best weather is February, March, out there in Arizona, February, March, and I think April. And, we've been out there too in Arizona where it's snowed,
Yep.
it's rained,
Yep.
it's been hot, so it's unpredictable what the weather's going to be. But, we typically try to go the months that are cooler,
Yeah.
because we know that it's miserable, not only for the exhibitors, it's miserable for the staff,
Walk.
it's hot, it's miserable for the people that are walking in that want to come out there with their families. So we try to avoid the hot months, and we try to go, with the months that we know that are going to work a little better for us. But it's unpredictable too. Mother Nature sometimes is unpredictable. But we're hoping that this year, Rick, we hit the 5 shows.
Mm.
We hit the shows running in Arizona, then we go to SoCal, and then we come here back home. And good thing is that we have 2 shows here at home.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that this year the tour is just as good as it's been the last few years, or better. We're hoping that it's just going to get better, at the
Yeah.
next few years. And like I said, for us, it's one, having the magazine
Yeah.
printed. That's for us. It's going to be something that we're definitely pushing for. And 2, just to bring those shows to people's areas that are expecting us to come back again, or working with those promoters that we're in negotiations with right now, and just trying to put together one of the best teams
Yeah.
that we can to promote and grow our car shows.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, this is going to be the second year of San Jose and the second year at the Tacoma.
Washington. Yep.
Washington.
Yep.
Washington.
And we're going to continue, like I said, Rick, it's our second year, in San Jose, our hometown. With a lot of people, a lot of people claim that San Jose is, one of the birthplaces of low riding. For us, I can tell you it's a birthplace of magazines. We've got a lot of magazines that have came out of San Jose. But for us, it's definitely a city that people all over the country know where Story and King is, or San Jose know.
Yeah.
I've been all over the country, and the first time first things that people say to me is, "How's the King of Story?" The King of Story is still, still the same. I'm like, it's not the same. I think there's only 2 buildings in King of Story that are still there from the early, from the 70s or 80s.
Berries over there.
Yeah, you got Tropicana, which was Newberries, like you said, and you got the Jack in the Box, that are the only 2 existing buildings that are there from back in the days. But like I tell people, King of Story is for us, is historical. Just like Woodruff Boulevard is, just like every major city has their cruising spot that they had growing up. But for us, San Jose, bringing the car show to San Jose at all indoor show, it was something that we definitely, it was overdue. We kind of do it. And the same thing going to Tacoma, where it rains.
Seattle.
Seattle is, Portland and Seattle. I mean, I think those poor brothers up there only have
very small
2 months of good weather. You know what I'm saying?
I just talked to somebody from up there, and it was snowing last weekend.
So for us to go up to the Northwest and find a facility that could house 300 cars, or 350, I think that's what we put last year. And with the tattoo expo that we're going to add, it's just something that I know we're going to continue to stay there for a while. And just keep doing, with the support of everybody up there. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. And like I said, Rick, anyone that hears this, that wants to know about media passes, hit us up. We only give out so many. We only give out maybe 10 media passes for every show. I don't charge for media passes. If you're a photographer that actually has a platform that actually shares our flyers, shares our events, and that would like to come to check out one of our shows, just hit me up. DM me, hit us up on our website, and one of us will get back to you. As far as if we have a media pass, we will give it to you. You have to come and collect it. pick it up the day before. You
Yeah.
know, don't wait till the day of the show that morning and
You'll
expect
never
me to
find Mark.
expect me to stop just so I can go run out there and give somebody a media pass. No, you please, man, come out, be courteous, be courteous to us. And if you are looking to get a media, pass or credentials, just hit me up, before the show, the sooner the better. And then I'll let you know if we have any more left.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rick, I mean, enjoy your Super Bowl, man. Like I said, enjoy the game today, and like thank you for giving us the opportunity. Give me the opportunity to speak on what we're doing this year.
Yeah,
And
looking forward to it.
and if anyone needs any information, our website is in www.impalasmagazine, .com. And right now, everything that we have right now so far is open except the registration for San Jose, or the vendor application is not available yet for San Jose. It will be, but probably not till April.
Okay.
April 1st, we'll open up the registration for San Jose. We've already gotten 2 shows out of the way, in March, which is going to help us, and then we can focus on the last 3 shows.
And then pre-sale tickets will be pre-sale up to what, the week before each event?
Usually the pre-sale tickets, Rick, we cut them off the Friday. If the show is a Saturday, the pre-sale tickets will get cut off Friday at usually by midnight.
Okay.
If
you don't get them online, you're gonna pay full price at the door.
Yeah, you're gonna pay full price at the door if you don't get them on Eventbrite. And like I said, you don't even have to go through Eventbrite, Rick. You can just go right to our website, press the button where it says ticket, and it'll take you right to the link where you can purchase tickets. So you don't even have to search on Eventbrite for whatever show you're looking for.
I'll link under this video and in the podcast. If you're just hearing the audio only, there will be a link, but at www.impalasmagazine.com. Google it, go to the website. All the information for these shows should be there. Ticket information and everything else will be on the website. So go check the website out.
Yeah. And if you guys need any gear, we're about ready to launch our clothing line on our website too. We're about ready to open the store up for people to buy hoodies, hats, t-shirts. That's been something that we've been kind of working on, and it's kind of, you got to get everything lined up before you can, you got to have inventory. That's one thing I wanted to have. I wanted to have shirts that we are posting up for sale already ready to go, so that people aren't like, well, man, I ordered a shirt a month ago and I ain't got it because, they don't have them printed. So we definitely wanted to have stuff on our store that you guys can buy, not only from the car shows, but after the car show. If you didn't make it to the show and you want a specific shirt from a specific car show, we're going to try to keep, those already printed throughout the year. Yeah. So, but Rick, again, thank you, man. Thank you for everything. And like I said, I look forward to seeing you in Arizona.
Yep.
Like I said, I know you talked about already going out there, and like I said, I know you're not making it to the SoCal, but definitely, man, be safe out there in Miami.
Oh yeah.
And I know Carlos, he's going to have a hell of a show too this year, like he's had the last few years.
Tampa. Tampa.
Yep.
I want to say Miami every time because
I'm sorry, Tampa. It's Tampa.
Everybody's saying LA, California,
Florida. I say Florida. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it's been quite some time since I've been out to Florida, and when we used to go out there, it was always Tampa and Miami were the two cities that had the biggest shows. But like I said, Rick, thank you for everything, man, for the opportunity. And
I might have still might have coverage for SoCal, so I'll talk to you later.
Okay, just let me know. And like I said, I got you, Rick. If you're gonna send somebody out there on your behalf, just let me know the week of the show, and we'll take care of it, man.
All right, sounds good. Thank you again for coming on.
Okay, thank you, Rick.
Pinches Lowriders.